Hello and welcome to the channel. I have a few bookish things to share with you today. There's a few more additions to our library, and I have completed a couple of things this week, and I have a big stack of books which I am currently reading that I wanted to share with you. So we'll start with the new books to the library. The first one you've seen before is The Story Girl by Ellen Montgomery. The Piano Man's daughter has read this through cover to cover twice, at least twice, since I have showed it the last time. The next one that we have is The Flying Inn by G.K. Chesterton. I know nothing of this book, but the Piano Man had been requesting it for a few years, so we finally have that one in our library. Another book by G.K. Chesterton is The Orthodoxy, which has come up numerous times in my reading, and so I would wanted to have a copy of that. We used to have a copy, but we loaned it out, and it has a new home. Another one that we have is Charles Dickens' The Life of Our Lord, which, isn't that pretty? It was written by him for his children in their early years. So I'm very interested to know about that one. And also by Dickens is Great Expectations and Related Readings. Now, the related readings are a number of short stories, essays, poems. One of them is by Dostoevsky, and bits from a memoir, I believe, in there. So, and those are all different authors. And except for Dostoevsky, I don't know any of them, so they'll be new to me, and that might be a good thing. Now, the books that I have completed are, I read Lady Susan. I haven't completed Persuasion by her, because every time I start that one, the Piano Man's daughter steals it away from me, because she's reading it too, not as quickly as I would like, because I want to finish it. But anyway, I read Lady Susan, and I have to say that the only character in the story that I like is Mr. Johnson. And he didn't even write any of the letters. This is an epistolary novel, and it's the first one that I've ever read. So I had a lot of thoughts through it. It took me a little bit to get into, but at the end of it, I liked Austen's writing of it. It'd be interesting to know if I would like it as much if it was somebody else writing it, but I did like her letters that she wrote. I thought that they had good character development, and it was good. The characters were not good, but the storyline was good. So, the other book that I completed was Tess of the D'Urbervilles by Thomas Hardy. And this is a very tragic story. Everything about it is tragical. But I have to say that I absolutely love Hardy's descriptions of the landscapes and his love of southern England. It's beautiful, beautiful. Your chapters quite often open up with at least 2 pages just describing the landscape, and it is fantastic. This particular copy, there are even photographs in here. Of different areas on the countryside where these scenes may have taken place. In his eyes, while he was writing it anyway. There's many, and this is a beautiful copy. I don't know if I would encourage this story for everyone to read, but it was good. Okay? Tragic, but good. And then to the books for which I am currently in progress. The first one that I'll mention is The Way We Live Now by Anthony Trollope. This one I started the end of November. I had a library copy of it, and the way I received it from the library was a big book that was in multiple sections with a big rubber band around it. And I was scared to read that book and make it any worse than it already was. So, but I read enough to know that I wanted to read that. So I have that one. I'm about 100 pages in, I think. Yeah. The next book was from my reading challenge, reading bingo for this year. And that is Doctor Who, Marco Polo edition. And Piano Man has been trying to get me to like the show for as long as I've known him. And every time he turns it on, I fall asleep. Well, I picked up the book, I read not even 2 pages, and I fall asleep. So I'm getting a theme here for that, but I will try and get through it. I should. It's very small. The other book that I'm reading right now, also for the bingo that I'm doing, is The Idiot by Fyodor Dostoevsky. And I'm not too far through that one. Just a few chapters in. This is a buddy read for me with Arion over at Bookzelots. So I won't say anything at all about that one until it's done. Another book that I'm reading right now is The Shadow of the Winter Palace, which I am also using for the book bingo. And I am a couple of chapters into that. This is nonfiction. This is Russia's drift to revolution between the years 1825 and 1917 by Edward Crenshaw. It's very interesting, and between these last 2 books, it got me on a little chase down some little trails. I'm sure that's never happened to any of you. But then I started researching Rousseau, who came about 100 years before any of those started. He wrote some influential essays and writings which influenced many, many leaders around the world, people and revolutionists. And so I wanted to know who he was. I read his brief biography that was in this Great Books edition. And I found that this man had no, or what I didn't think would be any skills to write anything so influential. That's just me. But he started out as an apprentice to a notary. He was an engraver. He was an adventurer / wanderer. He was a kept man. While he made several attempts to find himself an occupation, he considered the priesthood. He took music lessons from a choir master. He lackadaisically studied philosophy, mathematics, astronomy, anatomy, Latin, poets, history, and theology. He was a tutor briefly. He succeeded in presenting a new system of musical notation, but nobody adhered to it. He was secretary to a French ambassador in Venice. He copied music, and that was something he fell back on several times in his life. He wrote an opera. Then he started writing about politics, and he entered an essay contest for which he won his fame for his essay, "Has the progress of arts and sciences contributed to the corruption or purification of morals?" And because of that, then he was presented to the royal court and received a royal pension. And then he was asked to write on the political economy and the discourse on inequality. From there, he proceeded to upset every person he came in contact with. He ended up fleeing from place to place. And he died suspiciously, and some even say possibly of suicide. So that leaves you to wonder how people decide to really get into things. Like, do they study who invented these theories? Or do they just jump right in and embrace things? Actually, I think that's quite common in a lot of things currently and throughout history. But such as it is, we'll just keep reading some more. You have a great day. Thank you. Goodbye.